Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Ironwoman. Today we have the honor to talk to Sherfan. He certainly was my role model when it came to Ironman. When I did my first half Ironman, tough man, I finished, I got a slice of pizza, and all of a sudden Sherfan showed up and he says, I wanted to wait for you. So I will never forget that. And the other thing that I remember, Sherfan is from Rio de Janeiro. I did the half marathon there. And Sherfan says, don't do it for time, do it for beauty. Tell us your story and also congrats, you're an Ironman.
Hello, Susanne. Super happy to be here. It's great that you get those memories. Myself keep very nice memories. You may not remember, but when I came to US first time back in 2005, you were the first person that welcomed me Nestle at that time. Today, here we are together, talk about our great achievements, not only in business, but also in the sports. Today, you talk about sports because you inspired me a lot as well. When I came and I got to know that you, despite being super great professional in your career, you are a super great athlete, completed so many marathons. And I say, my gosh, how's it possible? Thanks for having me here.
It's great to look back what we have achieved and also how we supported each other over the years. The sports is important, especially when you have a demanding job. And at Nestle, we all worked very hard, but the sport, especially for me, was helping a lot to be happy and healthy.
No, absolutely. That's an excellent way to release stress, right? And to feel better and put your mind in a different direction than business. So your brain can think about different things and get oxygen and get fresh air. So no, all those are super good. Okay, business and sport, I see a lot of correlation, right? Of that, since both require super high discipline, consistency, also endurance, resilience, both represent challenge that you need to figure out how to override, and those are very similar to it. Specifically long runs, like you're talking about Ironman, the long runs are great. They teach you how to keep the pace, keep your focus, and adjust your goals according to the different challenges that you have. So those are the things that really I like to do, all kind of runs. I really enjoy the energy behind those events, but the long runs are the one that I enjoy the most and really teach me the most as well. So yes.
And so why the long runs? I know there's a lot of people who like the sprints. Why the long runs? So you have the time to think or the time to takes forever?
No, I really appreciate the short runs and did many, but the long runs, it's super interesting because you have to plan. And you need to plan very in detail. Okay, you need to learn the course. You need to learn, when you're going to hydrate yourself, when you're going to get food to keep going, what part of the course is favorable to you. So you need to take the most of it. Which are the ones that are challenge, and you need to know yourself very well to say, that's a challenge part. So I'm going to pace myself to come there, try to do my best, despite of being a tough, a part of it. To me, those teach us a lot. I remember in one of the Paris Marathon, it's super pretty for you who never run the Paris Marathon. It's one of my favorites. You start in the Champs-Élysées, so super pretty with a lot of people on the street. And I got super excited about that. And the first mile was my record time because I was excited with people on the street. And along the marathon, as you can imagine, I start to feel the excitement of the beginning of the race. That was a big learning for me to say, okay, I need to keep focus, keep concentrate on my goals and balance my energy for me to be able to not only do a very great first mile, but a great 26 mile, a great race. Those are one of the learnings that those long runs teach you and that I appreciate because help you to think about what's the best strategy for you. Within the short run, you need to do strategy as well, but it's super sprint. You don't have a lot. It's more energy and enthusiasm, different than the long runs.
You said you like the longer runs. Do you also get energy from the supporters alongside of the road? Or some people like more the quieter marathons. I like New York City Marathon, obviously, where you have 2 million spectators and the kids, you do the high fives. I get energy from that. What is that for you?
No, 100%. And the New York Marathon is fabulous. There is a competition between the 5 boroughs to see which are the ones that motivate like the athletes the most. And that's super high energy. One can think that a marathon is individual sport, a solitary sport. It's not. Like first, you start with the support that you get from your family, from your friends, in your training, and you come there with that long distance for you to go, but the trust of your people really help you and motivate you to do your best. And after along the race, yes, like you go along, but the peers that are running with you, they are motivated. You as well, the people on the streets, oh my gosh, they are the best. People playing music, people giving, like buying food and give it to you. And even the volunteers, those are like super special angels. After kilometer 30, those are real angels that help and give you like the piece of sugar or salt that you need to help you complete and achieve your objectives. Those energies are really like contagious and important. So I really enjoy that.
And how did you start? I know you played soccer in Brazil. And how did you get into the running and then the Ironman?
Yes, no, that's an interesting story. You're right. From Brazil, soccer is the number 1 sport, maybe the number 2 and the number 3 as well. So we are super into soccer. And along my movement in the different countries, I came to US. That soccer was not so popular at that time. Now it's fabulous. I will start to balance a bit, like the risks of injuries in the soccer and my appreciation of exercising. I say, okay, maybe it's a good way like to migrate and start to dedicate myself on another kind of exercise that is less risky, like soccer. I start to go for runs. And I was doing 10K to meet you and get started with all the marathons. And I say, okay, let's do it. And I remember one day I came to you and say, hey, Susanne, last week I ran like 5 times 10K. Do you think I can go for a marathon? And I say, I don't think so. Marathon is a different animal. It's not only 10K. You need to keep building. And I was, okay, so maybe it's not for me. And after 10K, I got challenged. Said, okay, I'm going to do a half marathon. Okay, it's double of the 10K that I'm doing. Let's try to go for it. It was super difficult, big achievement. And I got it. I was super happy. And after someone came and said, hey, let's go and do the marathon. And I say, wow, 21 was the furthest distance of my life. Now I need to duplicate that. I need to require a lot of discipline, and you really need to be focused on your goal. Okay, this week I need to run this amount of miles and go little by little. Know your body, know what you need. Sometimes you need salt, sometimes you need food or the gel, right? Or water, and start to balance your pace and see who you are, right? You don't need like to follow your peer, you don't need to follow the competitor, otherwise you can break, but you need like to really to know your like capabilities, follow that, know your body, and as my major advice, having fun, because at the end of the day, that's the major point. It's not the seconds or the minutes that you're gonna reduce or increase, but more having fun. That's the experience that you have. And I believe you share the same. After so many marathons, you maybe forget about your time, but the fun and the energy, that's what you keep in your heart and your memory.
I remember one time I was running and I was like, I don't like this anymore. And then I had to tell myself, this is not my job. This should be fun. And you mentioned that, right? So we all, if you're not a professional athlete, we do what we can. And sometimes when we work hard, the running is suffering a little bit. Yeah, we have to know ourselves. And I'm always, obviously, Take It from the Ironwoman is also interested in what can we learn from the running or the Ironman that we can take into the business. And certainly you're a super businessman with a head of supply chain now. What can you take from the Ironman experience into your daily lives?
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting question. If I mentioned before that I love those long distance runs because you can plan, you can define your strategy. One super important thing is to be flexible with it, right? No matter how hard you plan, how hard and accurate and smart is your strategy, the course can change, the circumstance can change, and you need to be flex and adapt to it as well, right? I remember like 2 years ago, I did the Ironman in Italy, in Emilia Romagna, very beautiful place. And I had my bottle of waters, and I didn't want to rely on the volunteers to give me a bottle of water, because what if I cannot grab one, right? So I had my bottles with me. So I was saying, okay, I don't rely on the volunteers. As soon as I passed the volunteer, there was a little hole on the road. My bike do a little bump, and I lost one of my bottles of water. And I said, oh my gosh, I just passed the volunteer. Now I cycle for another like 5 hours. And the next volunteer will be like maybe in 2-3 hours from now. And I have to adapt. I was cycling and thinking what I'm going to do. And suddenly it's not the safest. I'm not suggesting that to anyone, but I saw one bottle of water on the road. And I said, listen, I have no other choice. So I ran out of water. It was super hot. Like it's summer in Italy. Yeah. It was in the middle of the day after swimming. So I had to grab that bottle of water, and it was a bottle of water, not any other gel or liquid. And I was able like to adjust, but I had to do a little stop, and a little stop on those races that you have like super fast bikes. You don't want to do that, right? You are monitored by your computer. What's your pace, your speed, and so on. But yeah, I had like to stop a little bit, grab the water for me to keep going and readjust all my targets, all my pace, because that was needed for me. Similar thing like it happened in business. So you always do your plan, you always have your target, and things came differently, maybe because of internal need to change, or maybe some external factors, as you probably discussed, like the tariff. Suddenly, like you have the tariff, and oh, now what I'm gonna do? Oh, all the money that I spend, that I reserve for that market campaign. Okay, now I need to do that with half of the money because I need to protect the profitability of the business. So all those like lessons from the sports, plan, strategize, but be flexible because things can change, and you need to be flexible for you to achieve your goal in a different ways. Don't forget your goal, but just like how you come there may be different, and you need to understand that. Makes sense.
This is such great learning, and be flexible, especially when you have those results in mind and the company is pushing you. It's not always so easy. In the sports, it's a little easier. You typically have like 3 results in mind: the personal best, an okay time, and the finish. You can adjust the time in the, let's say, running, but in the business, it's not always so easy.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the point of the short and the long term. You don't need like kill yourself for the challenge that came to you in the short term. And maybe like if you sleep on your objectives of the short term, you're going to do your best to catch up. External events come, make it more complicated, but keep focus on the medium long term, because after that you can recover, you can catch up, and you're going to have a good medium, like a long term, and you end up like succeeding. That's the most important part. One joke I make with my team here is any KPI can be profitability, can be growth, can be like you name it, service. If you miss, you have a chance to catch up. The only KPI, the only measure, the only point that you need to put attention, because that's critical, is safety. The safety is the KPI, is the indicator, is the measure, like is the mindset that you need to keep all the time. Because if you lose a people, that's something that's different than any other metrics, any other thing that you can put in business, you cannot recover. That one, you need to be like a super focus all the time. All the others, if there's external circumstance, it's okay. You can catch up next day, next month, next year, next decade, and be able to deliver.
Tell us about your leadership. So you say, my team. How do you lead your team? What would they say if I ask your team? How is Sherfan as a leader?
Oh, my team, we were super engaged in our targets, in our objectives, working like as a business partner. We have like the mindset that, okay, this is our business, so let's do the best. There's no one with the magic ball that say, a crystal ball that say how to go. It's us learning of the experience and sharing opinions to build something better together. One of the points that, again, I bring from the sports to the business reality, celebrate every small win. Every win is a win, needs to be celebrated, that you're gonna energize, you're gonna motivate the team to go for the next win and the next win. And when you realize you achieve things that you never imagined before, right? It was similar to my first marathon that I say, oh, what I'm gonna do 26 miles. That's a lot. I don't know if I can do that. And after like mile after mile celebrating that, I say, oh, achieve mile 2, mile 3, mile 5, 10, 12. And suddenly you see, wow, I complete my marathon. The same spirit I bring to my teams, blessed to have a very capable and nice team. Say, we are really target ourselves for bold objective. Don't get scared about them. Let's go little by little, celebrate every single win. And I'm sure you're going to come there and celebrate as a team.
Can we work for you? Sounds like you have a good team. You make sure everybody's flexible, safe, and also have some fun. And what do you do when you don't work and don't train?
Well, right now in the new chapter of life with a new year-old baby at home, that has been like big passion. And I was about to say, oh, it's occupying most of my time, but I'll change that, say I'm dedicating most of my time to that. It's my choice. And that's a big pleasure. And honestly, try to enjoy every single minute like that I can get, because times fly. You will not be a babe. Like in a few more years, I'll never be able to have that baby again, maybe other. But yes, that's how I've been spending most of my time enjoying family with my baby and running with him. I was in Rio de Janeiro and I put the stroller on the running path at the beach, and he was enjoying the ride. I guess we're going to be a rider. I'm going to put him to listen to some of your podcasts to get motivated as I got. Yeah, so he really enjoys that. Yeah. And try to exercise with him and stay with him with family.
Well, good luck. And who doesn't like to run on the Copacabana in Rio de Janeiro? Thank you so much, Sherfan. This was great. Take it from the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday. Come and join us, learn with others, learn from others. And also Take It from the Ironwoman is the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Download it or get it in your local bookstore. And also like this podcast on the platform that you are listening to this episode to. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.